choosing between a digital piano and a full-size MIDI keyboard was about specs. Turns out it's about something else entirely. I've had both for some time now. I reached out to Donner and Arturia and they were kind enough to send me these. But this video isn't about product reviews. It's about helping you make the right choice based on what actually changed when I brought both of these into our home. This is the OURA R300. When I started looking for a proper piano, I was pretty disappointed. My wife has strong opinions about interior design, and most digital pianos look very traditional. Because of that, Donner was an easy choice. It's the only brand that I found in this price range that seems to offer something that looks nice. And the design mattered because this was going into our living room. And if you're considering a piano, my advice would be to think hard about where to place it. We didn't realize it at the time, but that one decision made the biggest difference of all. I'll talk about that in a little bit. This is the Arturia KeyLab 88 Mark III. In my studio full of gear, even though it's technically just a MIDI controller, it's the piece that looks the most like a true instrument. It looks seriously impressive, and it feels even better when you lay your hands on it. So what actually separates the two? I mean, they both have 88 keys with hammer action, and they look similar. But as I've come to experience, the real difference is something that doesn't show up in the spec sheet. The practical differences between a digital piano and a MIDI controller are fairly well known. A MIDI controller doesn't make any sounds on its own. You need to plug it into something, like a computer or a synthesizer. And you need speakers or headphones. If you're a music producer, you already have a computer. But if you're buying this as a family instrument or for someone learning to play, this is an important aspect to think about. A digital piano is a complete instrument. It has built-in sounds and a built-in speaker. The point of the piano is you sit down and you play. There's no cables to plug in, there's no software, there's no friction. And the pedals, they obviously transform how expressive you can be. On most MIDI controllers, pedals are a separate purchase, so if you're considering playing piano, you need to consider that additional purchase too. Both keybeds feel good, by the way. The Donner has graded hammer action, which means that they feel heavier in the bass notes and lighter in the treble, just like an acoustic piano. The KeyLab's action is a touch heavier and uniform across the range. One small detail I noticed is that on the Donner, a key only triggers a sound when it's fully depressed. On the KeyLab, I feel like I can trigger a note at maybe 2/3 of the key travel. For someone like me who's still learning, the KeyLab exposes my mistakes perhaps a bit more. It's not me, it's the keyboard. So far it probably sounds like the piano is running away with it, but we haven't talked about sounds yet, and honestly, they're worlds apart. The Donner comes with a handful of built-in sounds. 2 piano voicings, an electric piano, an organ, and a few others. I played all of them, and they're all decent, but honestly, I think of this as a piano. If I want non-piano sounds, I go to the studio. The piano sounds are sample-based, they're perfectly in tune. There's nothing you can tweak about them except, obviously, volume and your own expressiveness. That might sound limiting, but honestly, the grand piano sound of this piano sounds lovely. It reminds me of my mom's acoustic grand piano that took up half of my parents' master bedroom when I was growing up. There's a warmth to it that just feels right. My son actually prefers the other piano sound, which is the default stage piano. The one thing I do really miss is reverb. Obviously, our spacious living room adds some natural reverb to the sound, but sometimes it's fun to just pretend that you're playing on stage. The KeyLab ships with Analog Lab Pro. We're talking thousands of presets across a massive range of instruments. And perhaps most importantly here, some really good piano sounds. It models multiple acoustic pianos at incredible detail. And you can dial in some imperfections like detuning, things I'm used to hearing on a real piano. The Donner, on the other hand, sounds perfect, completely correctly tuned. The KeyLab can sound beautifully imperfect, and it can sound like so much more than a piano. And because it's a MIDI controller, you go from playing freely on the keys to arranging in the DAW in seconds. I co-produce music with a friend of mine, and when we're working on ideas together, we typically sit here in this studio, and it's just so nice to have this keybed that is available whenever we need it. I can sketch out a melody, I can try a chord progression, I can play in a pad, and it all goes straight into Ableton. So both of these instruments have real strengths and real trade-offs. But there's one thing I didn't expect when I set up the piano in the living room, and it ended up mattering more than anything I talked about so far. Here's the thing that none of those specs or sound comparisons actually tell you. When the piano arrived, I set it up in the living room and I turned it on. And then something happened. my son started to play more, a lot more. In the morning before school, in the evening after dinner, in short moments throughout the day. Not because the piano is necessarily better than the MIDI controller here in the studio, but because it's there, at the heart of our house. And then that hidden detail that makes a massive difference, it has built-in speakers. And that sounds obvious, but it changes everything. When my son played in the studio, he was either on headphones or far away from anyone that nobody heard him. When he plays in the living room, we all hear him. And he loves that. He likes that his parents listen. He likes that his younger brother can hear him play as well. So playing piano stopped being a practice and it turned into a social activity. And honestly, hearing your kid play piano while you're making dinner, that's the kind of thing that you don't realize is part of the choice you're making here. It's probably the thing that matters the most. So here's my practical framework if you're trying to decide. If you want a piano, a complete, ready-to-play instrument with pedals, built-in sounds and speakers, and a proper piano feel, get a piano. The donor feels great, it feels honest under your fingers, and it actually looks like something that belongs in a modern home. If you want a versatile keyboard for production, sound design, and creative work that also happens to play piano beautifully through software, get a full-size MIDI controller. The KeyLab 88 is an excellent one if you want a nice piano action and a premium build quality. The included software alone is worth serious money. But know that you need to plug it into something, and if piano is particularly important to you, get a sustain pedal too. One more thing to consider, if you get in the MIDI controller, think about what types of sound you play the most. Specifically, think about whether you truly need 88 hammer action keys. There's also a KeyLab 61 that has semi-weighted keys that are better suited for non-piano sounds. Personally, I'm really happy with the 88 key version. It's not taking up space that I would use for anything else, and I find the tray to be really useful. For a long time, music used to be a studio thing, behind closed doors, separated from the rest of our house. And now it's everywhere, including some ear-piercing violin practice from the smallest one. If this was helpful, I would appreciate a like and subscribe. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.